2007, which I thought was really fun. Great version. And then when we sort of all sold our rights over the years, Viacom bought it, and Nickelodeon came on board and wanted to develop a new TV series. And so, Pete's pretty much more retired now. I'm spending more time doing Turtle stuff today than I ever did before. So I work on the new shows and the movies and the comic book, and having an absolute blast doing it. Really good. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm loving the new IDW series.
Thank you.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've also heard that Laird still has the permission to print some Mirage issues over the course of the year too. I was wondering if you ever have any intentions of going back to that universe, or if he doesn't go into that.
Well, I think it's his. I love that universe. I like, to me, it's always like whether it's Pete and I working on a story with a different artist or a different writer, or watching what different writers and artists did from the comic book series to the animated show. I always found it really interesting and fascinating what they see in their characters, and a lot of times they sort of could bring up a plot point or an idea or concept or even personality trait that we hadn't thought of before. So I enjoy all the series, and I think Pete's restricted to, I think if he wants to do more of his black and white version, it's only he can work on it. But Pete's gotten really excited after we did the 30th anniversary stuff of maybe coming in. Maybe we'll do something for IDW together, which would be awesome. We had a really good time on those covers. So hopefully we'll see more Eastman there in the future.
In the late 90s, once the toy line started to cool off and some of the more odder toys came out, okay,
Awesome.
who was behind the idea of Ninja Turtle farmers? Donatello was going to get in a tractor and he's going to grow some corn.
Yeah.
He's going to fight the shredder.
What's funny is what's really funny is that particular version of the Turtles sold absolutely huge. I'm not kidding. It's like,
totally fine.
no, but it was one of those things that they would the toy companies would do this research. We had Turtle punk rockers, Turtle baseball players. We had Turtle. Remember the Turtle Star Trek?
Yeah.
I love those. I still have a Star Trek shirt and wear it for my wife occasionally. But we have Turtle Universal Monsters. Peter actually came. Pete had this weird collection of, remember those those troll toys? The Turtle Trolls, and when he brought that up at one of the toy meetings, I was like, please. And then the toy company was like, oh, we've got research on this, and that would be huge, and they sold huge. And so when they did the Farmer Turtles, I was like, seriously, man? And it worked with me. Lots of Mike and Phone.
If you're from New England, why'd you pick New York for the home of the Turtles?
It's a great question. It was like, to us it was, it's funny when we did the first issue of the Turtles. We were doing press for some of the early issues of the Turtles when they started becoming popular, and reporters would ask questions like, oh, they're in New York, so you must live in New York City, and you must be black belts in the series, right? And I said, well, I've never been in New York in my life. So I have no idea what it really looks like, but every superhero concept ever was always set in New York. The Marvel Universe had New York City, Superman had, Metropolis, Batman had Gotham. It was always like this New York City-esque thing, so we figured that all superheroes had to live in New York. And I said the closest thing that would qualify me as a black belt was if it meant, watching Bruce Lee movies over and over and over. And that's about it. So we were running stories about these mutant characters that lived in a city I'd never been to, doing a martial form of martial arts that I had no idea what it was about. So.
That's comic books.
I always loved April. I thought she was a great role model as a grown up. I thought she was really cool. And I like how they aged her down in the new Nick show. I wanted to know what your thoughts were on the whole Donnie April interspecies romance going down.
Man, that's like the scariest question ever. Oh yeah, I can't believe it.
Pretty big on the answer.
111. No, it's funny because that's always been a point that, whether it be the original comic series or any of the animated series in the movies, it was always like, that question comes up. And I'm curious how to see, Sarah and I have talked about it quite a bit, and some of the other people at Nickelodeon, and I think that it's, in the world we live in today, and, you have the level of acceptance of mutant characters and lots of different kinds of characters, alien characters and all that stuff, but there's some romantic possibilities that it's sort of, it's always on everybody's mind, and it's one of those things that they're sort of going there, we're going there, but how to address it, beyond that, I'm not sure. I think it's just going to be, romance, holding hands, I don't know, brother, sister kind of thing, but I do love the fact that they aged, because we always designed April as the sister character to the Turtles. We wanted a human, so there's all guys with this perspective from the earliest comic book, so when they aged, when they wanted to age her down, the new animated series, I just thought it was a great idea. Put some more on their level, and they can banter and interact better. And I like the, like they made Splinter so much taller. Splinter was always a little guy to us, and they made him so much taller, just made him such a more dominating father figure. So it was great. That's what's funny. Like a lot of fans got really worried when we started working on the new movie, especially when they saw the new versions of the Turtles, which are actually were inspired directly by a series we did with Michael Zulli back in the original black and white days. He did a very realistic take on the Turtles, and everything we did in the new movie was all inspired by things that had happened in the Turtles universe before. And I know everybody hates Michael Bay for some reason, but Jonathan Liebsman was the director, and he was just a great guy. He worked so hard. He wanted to make the best Turtle movie and really keep it true to the core audience and the core story and the pizza and the heart and soul, and keep the personalities right the way they were. So it's there's some really fantastic moments in the new movie, and there's some Michael Bay moments where things blow up. All good. I'm glad you guys like it. You got really good feedback on the movie. So.
Yeah, I love the picture of Kirby. And I read in an old interview you did that one of your favorite books was Commandy.
Oh man.
And my favorite of the Kirby run on that was 16. I was wondering what was yours. But before you answer that, I run a comic club, anime club at my middle school that I teach at.
Yeah.
And if you could just do a quick shout out to Jake, it would make his day.
Sure. What is it?
Jacob.
Just say Cowabunga Jacob, or
just say hey, how you doing?
Hey, it's Kevin Eastman, co-creator of the Ninja Turtles. We're here with some really awesome folks here in Framingham, Massachusetts, and I want to say hi to Jacob.
Awesome. Thanks. And he's a great kid. You made his day.
Awesome. The cover Turtles Commandy is on my wall in my studio, number 16. It's my favorite issue.
It's the best.
The first movie I ever saw when I was a kid, my older sister Molly was babysitting us. We lived in Grove, Maine, and the closest theater was in Gorham, Maine. And my sister had her license, and she wanted to just get out of the house. We lived in this farm up in the country. And so we went down to see the movie. The first movie I ever saw in the theaters in my entire life was Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it just literally blew my mind. And Jack Kirby, if you don't know his Commandy concept, it's Commandy the Last Boy on Earth, and it's inspired by Planet of the Apes, but instead of just apes, he had all kinds of animals involved, and they were ruling the earth, and humans were slaves. And I was just, when I grew up in Grove, Maine, I think I thought I was the last boy on earth.
I don't know, you got another one.
Yeah, we got some other friends from Grove.
Hey, Kevin, could you talk about the old drawing 7th and 8th grade comic books you did?
Sure.
You never do. You never
Well,
talk about them.
no, I talk about it. It's funny. I always put them in my books and stuff, but it's like he's got this is a comic book I did when I was in 7th and 8th grade, and I had
This is probably the oldest.
a friend of mine named Jim McNorton was. He was kind of a writer, and he wanted to be a writer, and he wanted to be the president of the company, the writer, and then it was me and this other kid named David Peabody, and he would come up with these really crazy ideas, and we'd draw them because Jim's family had some money, and Jim had this awesome comic collection, and I used to do a paper route so I could save my money to buy comic books. So anything Jim would ask us to draw, we'd draw it and we'd trade our drawings for comic books. So that's how I was doing lots of my early drawings, was making living Jimmy drawings and trading Jim for comic books. And so, in fact, I think the final paper I did as handed in 7th grade, 8th grade, was the teacher let me do a comic book as my final report for the year. So it's some pretty open-minded teachers that were very inspirational. Junior high and high school and all that stuff. So yeah. Oh, we got a photo up. I think we got a Hey, listen, I just want to tell you that, again, it's the 30th anniversary of the Turtles. We've had a mind-blowing, fantastic year. I can't believe it's been 30 years, and I always like to blame you guys, because without you guys being there and buying those Turtle toys and buying those Turtle comic books, you guys are doing the greatest job on the planet, and I just, it's humbling, it's honoring, it's unimaginable. It's great to be here 30 years later, still talking about Turtles and hanging out with you nice people, and thanks for being there. Thanks for showing me the great we got a photo thing, and that's going to be done. So thank you again. Have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe. Have a great holiday, Christmas holiday.
Thank you.